What's up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about why it's important to have a travel camera, aka a point and shooting camera, or just an everyday camera. So number one, the first thing I really want to touch on is just ease of use. An everyday camera should be something that's easy to use and just super simple to operate, meaning you can kind of give it to anybody and they could snap a photo, you could snap something that doesn't take much thought. So as I've talked about on this channel before, my everyday camera is the Fuji X100VI. Your everyday camera can be something like this, or it could be something different, but this is what works for me. With that being said, one of the primary things I picked up on this camera just in using it over the last couple months or so is, like I say, the ease of use. As photographers, videographers, filmmakers, we're usually the ones recording everything. One of the main things I like about a camera like this is that it's simple to operate. I could literally hand this camera to anybody. They can snap it up, record a video. It's just super easy to use. A lot of the times, as I mentioned many times before, the camera I use on this channel is the S5 II. So the problem with mirrorless and DSLRs, well, traditional cameras, is when you give it to somebody, man, they're like, wait a minute, I gotta do what? Like that autofocus says what? So it's one of those things where if you get an everyday camera or like a good point and shoot camera like this, or even something like the S9 or maybe the X100VI or even one of the older models, like I said, ease of use. This is something you can hand your mother, your granny, your cousin, anybody who's not really a photographer or filmmaker or whatever. You can hand them something like this or just your everyday camera and they can essentially use it and get quality content. Another one of the things I really love about just having a good everyday camera is, like I said, the flexibility. This is great for, you can actually do legit photo shoots on here, quick captures, any sort of quick thing you need recorded that doesn't require a big mirrorless camera. This is something that's very minimal, so it's not very invasive. When people see it, they aren't as afraid of it. I've used this camera so far on photo shoots, street photography, and just different fashion pics that I've just kind of been experimenting with. And as the video continues to go along, I'll just show you different shots I managed to get out of this camera. And some of the shots, I'm in the shot, those are pictures where I was just able to say, hey, can you snap this up? You know, maybe get this angle, boom, I'll put a flash on it, and that was that. The other pictures I actually snapped, and like I said, it's just easy to use. To me, your everyday camera depends on what exactly the needs that you need from a camera, because theoretically you could use something like the S5 II as your everyday camera, but for me specifically, I wanted something small. I wanted something that, you know, required minimal editing, which, as we all know, that's one of the main things that the Fujis are popular for, the film simulation. I also wanted something that, you know, had a kind of cool aesthetic, something that that could also be used for behind the scenes for different projects. Like I said, with ease of use, I can use this in a professional setting, or I can just hand it to somebody and say, hey, can you go ahead and snap a couple quick behind the scenes pictures? And that's something that I desire in my everyday camera. For me, this camera is all of the above. It's an everyday camera, it's a travel camera, and it's something that everybody can use. Number one, you have to outline what are the things that you value in an everyday camera in terms of what is most important to you. If size isn't a big deal, you can definitely get something like the S5 II. You can get a Canon, you can get a Nikon. There are so many different cameras you can get. So figure out, you know, what are the things you value. Like I said, probably at the top of my list was ease of use. I wanted something that I could hand anybody and they could, you know, essentially snap it up, use it properly. Now, what I had to learn from using this camera, like, so I'm coming from, you know, mirrorless cameras and DSLRs. What I had to learn immediately with this was it is important to use a flash. And honestly, when I started using a flash on this, I quickly realized, you know what, I probably should have been using a flash a long time ago, but as you all know, I do more videos than I do photography. But with your everyday camera, definitely get a nice portable flash, something that's not too crazy, because that flash is going to make it, you know, just versatile in every sort of environment. So another good thing about just having an everyday camera is you get to create memories. You get to, you know, not only live in the moment, but you also get to create memories. And it's just super fun to have a camera that you can just do your thing. And this could go for, you know, an everyday video camera like the Osmo, or even something for photography, or something like this that does both, which luckily most cameras do both. So you can record videos, you can take pictures, you can pretty much do everything now. There's nothing better than creating memories, but there's also nothing better than reliving memories that you have created. And that's one of the things I enjoy about having an everyday carry camera, because prior to this, I mean, I've had many cameras. I still own many cameras. I never once had an everyday camera outside of my iPhone. And what I realized is, I mean, the quality you get out of having a better camera is just unmatched. It's hard to beat. So like I said, there's nothing better than creating memories and then reliving those memories and then creating even more memories. So that's definitely, you know, one of the main reasons you would want an everyday camera, travel camera, or whatever you decide to call it. So with that being said, like I said, with this video, I didn't really want to make a super long video, but I would like to know, what is your everyday camera? Or, you know, what's your travel camera? Kind of what's your go-to camera for most scenarios? Like I say, prior to me getting this, I mean, I still use my Osmo for behind the scenes content, but I never really had an everyday photography based camera. I was just, you know, hey, I'll snap it on the iPhone, even though, I mean, like you all know, when you get a taste of better quality, it is extremely hard to dial it back down. Yeah, but number one, I would like to know, what's your everyday camera, or what are some of the things that you would like to see in an everyday camera in order for you to, you know, adapt one. Aside from that, I want to encourage everybody, hey, get an everyday camera, or hey, even use your phone, use something, because believe it or not, I mean, it seems cliche walking around with a camera 24/7, but it's a lot funner than it looks. And I'm telling you, it's just nothing like capturing the moment, reliving the moment. And it's like, damn, I'm glad I bought my camera, because we've all been in those scenarios where it's like, I wish I had my camera. So like I say, with this one, I wanted something small, something that could essentially get the job done. And also, one of the things that I forgot to touch on in my previous video, I'm not really considering this a follow-up per se, but so I did touch a little bit on the video quality of this camera, but now I've actually had more time to experiment with it. And honestly, it's pretty dope. So with this camera, so video wise, this has auto orientation. So for example, I can record this way, I can flip and do vertical. And one of the cool things about that is when you transfer it to your phone, it saves the information from the video. So if you're somebody like me who's used the S5 II or any of the other cameras, generally you cannot transfer video files via the app. With a camera like this or some of these different cameras, you can actually transfer video files. So I'm pretty sure many of you have heard about the Panasonic S9 now. And one of the things that Panasonic introduced was MP4 Lite, which allows you to transfer it via the phone app. So that's kind of like the next wave for just content creators and people just capturing quality content, because it just saves a lot of time. You know, every time we don't need 6K and all of that, sometimes we just want something that look good. And that's one of the great things that the DJI Osmo actually got right. One of my only cons about the Osmo to me is the picture quality. The picture quality isn't great, but also it's not really a picture camera, so it's not one of those things that we even expected. Like I said, I just wanted to touch on kind of some of the reasons of why you should have an everyday camera, travel camera, or just something that's simple to use, and why it's kind of important to have. Like I say, there's nothing better than, you know, capturing these moments. And hopefully you enjoyed, you know, some of these different pictures I posted up. And I want to remind you, every picture that has been posted was straight out of camera. That's literally me just using a film simulation. I haven't even really tweaked it too much, because when you really get to dialing in these simulations, the pictures can look even better. But every picture is straight out of the camera. And this is all stuff that I snapped, used the app, transferred to my phone, boom, posted. Just like that. With that being said, I'm going to keep the videos coming. I hope y'all are having a good day. Peace.